Thank you guys for coming in today to discuss the effectiveness of incentive-based reward systems and decreasing interruptions in the classroom. So for today's PLC agenda, we're going to go over the vision statement that I created for myself. We're going to do the purpose of the action research. We're going to do the overview of the ERA program that I chose to use. We're going to do a little activity from YouTube. We're going to talk about the intervention that was chosen, the two interventions that I chose. We're going to go over the data and the analysis, and we're going to have questions at the end. So, if you look at the third slide, it is the vision statement that I have. As a collaborative special education teacher, my vision is to inspire a passion for learning. My goal is for students to achieve personal success in their learning and become responsible and productive citizens. I want my students to learn to their fullest potential. Graduates will possess basic knowledge and skills that will assure their proficiency in problem solving and technology. The overall goal is for students to be responsible citizens, lifelong learners, and be prepared for a variety of postgraduate options. I think the biggest statement that I created in there was for them to be prepared for a variety of postgraduate options. All we talk about in the high school setting is being college or career readiness, so I don't want to base all of it on just college. I want to base it on college or career when they graduate. So for the introduction, students in today's classroom are much different than they have been in the past. You've got the videos they watch, the movies that are on TV, the music they're listening to, cell phones, all sorts of different technology they have, the video games that are being played. A lot of those things are really hindering what the student's perspective is and how people should be treated and how they should treat people. So the problem statement I came up with is on the 6th slide. The amount of classroom disruptions and off-task behaviors in my third period classroom is making it difficult for students to learn to the best of their abilities. So for example, in that classroom we see a lot of call-outs. Some other off-task behaviors that we see are sleeping. A big one that we see this year is the dancing. Everybody wants to dab across the room. They want to whip across the room. Don't quite understand it. But whatever. Being on their cell phone, being on their laptop, being on their iPad, something's always distracting them. Sleeping. Some disruptive behaviors that we see in class are just calling out without raising their hand. That's always the common one that we see a lot of. Other ones are them just blatantly turning to their peers, talking to them next to each other. Another big one that we see this year is we have electric pencil sharpeners in that room, and they just like to get up and sharpen their pencil whenever they need to, even though we're in the middle of our class discussion. So those are a few things that we see. On to the second page, the purpose of the study. So the purpose of this action research study that I did is in an effort to decrease the amount of interruptions and increase the time on task, the action research study seeks to evaluate the effectiveness of an incentive-based reward system in a public high school in northern Kentucky. So that is what we did in our freshman high school English class. The program that we chose was the ERA program, or more commonly known as the ERA program. That stands for being engaged, respectful, and accountable. Students will write 2 letters at the beginning of each year, or the beginning of the study this year. Hopefully next year it'll be the beginning of the actual school year. So we had students write 2 letters to either a business or a celebrity of their choice asking for donations. So they got to use what they wanted to use. So they got the incentive of you talk to whoever you want to talk to get donations sent here. And at the end of the year, we're going to hold an auction. So how do you get money for this auction is the big question that everybody's asking. You get money by being engaged, respectful, or accountable. So the intervention that we chose in our class was the engaged aspect. So we want the students to be engaged in their learning, engaged with each other, and engaged away from their electronic devices and or peers. They can also make their ERA tickets for being accountable for their belongings, being accountable for their work, and being respectful to their classmates, peers, teachers, etc. So students will collect these ERA tickets for the 6-week intervention and more once we're done, but I'm only doing it for 6 weeks for this class. So we're going to continue it till the end of the year, but they're going to collect these tickets, and they get a ticket, they get to hold on to it, they have to turn it in to us. We will collect them every score, which is an intervention time each day that is set aside. So we see them one extra day a week for 15 minutes that we're going to collect these ERA tickets for. we're going to keep a spreadsheet. They're going to be tallied up, and at the end of each year, or at the end of this intervention, we're going to hold an auction for what we do have donated from the celebrities and or businesses. So far this year, I think we've got BW3s has donated wing sauce. Luke Bryant sent in like a signed CD. Chris Pratt sent in a signed poster. Who else is the guy in like Magic Mike?
Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum. He sent in a signed poster.
Nice.
So we've had a few things get sent in for this auction. So the implementation of this is actually individual tickets will be given out to the students. They'll be returned to us. We will keep track at the end. Like I said, they'll have an auction. An actual auctioneer is coming in to do this in our cafeteria, and it's going to be just like any other auction. We're going to have numbers they're going to hold up. So it's a big incentive that they have towards the end of the year.
So the kids have to hang on to the tickets till the end of the year, or do you keep track of
we see them
how they get
score
them?
every week.
Okay.
So they hand it to us and score.
Okay, perfect.
And we get that way.
Okay.
So then we keep track of it ourselves, but they have to be accountable for it.
Yeah.
From the time we hand it to them to the time they give it back to us and score.
Okay.
So initially, we did an individual.